Hello everyone and welcome to Sunburned Albino ranks every Jackbox party pack game from worst to best. The Jackbox series is a collection of severely underrated party game experiences that are super fun to stream or just play when you have friends and family over. Well, some of them are awful, but almost half of them are really fun and good. This is an opinion piece, so remember that when you get mad at where I put shit, starting with the worst and working our way down to best. Number 1, Earwax, Party Pack 2. The worst Jackbox game, in my personal and very not humble opinion, is Earwax from the second party pack. It's all about describing situations with sound effects. The game will give you a prompt like unusual death in a horror film, and then you as the player have to pick as many fart sounds as possible to guarantee victory among your fellow 8-year-olds. Even the smallest children would get bored with this immediately. There is nothing even remotely enjoyable about it. Number 2, Lie Swatter, Party Pack 1. Ooh, now this game is exciting. Up to 100 other players can join you in the monotonous doldrums of being given a statement and then being like, is this a truth or a lie? And then deciding whether it is a truth or a lie, and then being told whether it's a truth or a lie, and then receiving points based on whether you said it was a truth or a lie versus whether it was actually a truth or a lie. It's like Fibbage, but without all the parts that make Fibbage way better than this game. Number 3, Word Spud, Party Pack 1. This is technically the most boring game in the physical world, but it gets a slight leg up on the two before it because you can put ridiculous additions and then have your fellow players not accept them. In Word Spud, you are given a word, and then you must add a word to the end of that word to make it make sense. Like if it was potato, you might write potato head. Or if this game lasts longer than 5 minutes, you might slit your wrists. Yes, that's literally all you do. Then you get points per vote, then you get to go to sleep later that night and dream about all that time you wasted. Number 4, Zeepeldome, Party Pack 5. Jackbox's first attempt at making an actual video game is, shall we say, not great. It plays like a mobile game where you Angry Birds your character into targets in an arena with up to 6 players. The enemies can attack you, and if you die, one of your teammates/competitors can revive you by flinging themselves into you unless they narrowly miss several times in a row. It's just not exciting, and the chaos doesn't make for any pulse-pounding moments. This one's a dud. Number 5, Bracketeering, Party Pack 4. Have you ever wanted to provide basic examples of categories and then have those examples face off in a tournament-style bracket with 15 other basic examples? No? Well, you're like most people who will find this game lacking in the ingredients to produce any kind of situation that is amusing for more than 2 seconds. They really try, though. The atmosphere and visual effects and voiceover are trying very hard to make you feel anything but apathy for what you're playing. Also, if your answer is about masturbating, it's probably going to win. Number 6, Civic Doodle, Party Pack 4. Conceptually, this game sounds better than Drawful, but in execution, having multiple players continue each other's drawings doesn't pan out when the first player already filled the whole screen with shit and there's nothing to add but mindless clutter. Occasionally, you'll get a serviceable drawing by the end, and the taglines can be amusing, but it takes a bit too long to get there and it's not guaranteed. Number 7, Espionage, Party Pack 3. Espionage at least manages to make facts more interesting than just true-false scenarios by making you guess the percentages of people who know things and getting specific with it. The closer you are to the actual percentage, the more points you get, and it makes you apply your logical abilities and exercise your brain just enough to avoid atrophy. Number 8, Drawful, Party Pack 1. This game used to be a big deal back in the day, and is probably the most purely artistically driven game in the packs, but because of that it's also pretty plain. One player will get a hidden prompt and try to draw it, while others try and type in what they think it might be, and then everyone guesses based on those prompts. The quality of the games is directly related to how shit at drawing everyone is, so your mileage may vary. I think it's a just okay game. Number 9, Fakin' It, Party Pack 3. It has an exclamation mark in it, that's how you know it's fun. Fakin' It is only playable by a group of people who are in the same room, which means you can't stream it, which is a big disadvantage. But if you actually do get a group of people in the same room, you can hone your bullshitting skills to your heart's content. The game will give everybody but one person a prompt, which typically involves doing or not doing a physical action, which is why you need to see the people you're playing with. And then the person who doesn't get that prompt is known as the faker, and must react to the situation by trying to blend in and not be found out. The faker can try to mimic the other players, but if suspected, can use whatever verbal means is at their disposal to talk their way out of it. But by doing the action, they may have trapped themselves into an opinion or statement they now have to defend, even if it isn't true to them. Naturally, I think this game is very healthy for political discourse, especially. Just make sure you know the people you're playing with for maximum enjoyment. Number 10, Survive the Internet, Party Pack 4. I straight up do not understand this game even after playing it 3 or 4 times. They'll give you a headline or a picture and then you respond to it with some out of context whatever, and then other people will look at it and be like, hey, that's silly, and vote for silliness, and the whole time you're like, I'd rather just play Whiplash. Number 11, all the Fibbage games, Party Pack 1, 2, and 4. They're all the same, almost to the letter, just with different statements. Fibbage tasks you with finding out the truth of a statement while trying to supply lies to the other players and fool them. You get points for deducing the truth, and points for each player who picks your lie, so it does involve a level of sophistication in trying to pass believable lies, but it also closes the door to ridiculous but funny answers that other people will notice right away as bullshit. It's an average game. Number 12, Bomb Corp, Party Pack 2. From here on out, every game I list is fun and good and at least slightly above average. Bomb Corp requires you to be in communication with your fellow players, so streamed games with anonymous strangers are out, but it's still quite fun to frantically relay your splintered information about how to defuse a bomb back and forth to each other to try and cut the right wires. Each player has different rules on which wires to cut, and rules can sometimes hierarchically cancel each other out, so you really have to be careful as the timer ticks down that you don't make any rash moves. This one is exciting and does get the pulse pounding, and when your girlfriend fucks up by being too gung-ho about a rule before looking to see if any other rules denounce that rule, it does a great job of fracturing relationships too. Number 13, Patently Stupid, Party Pack 5. This game could have been amazing. It's really fun. In it, you pitch an invention to solve a Mad Lib-style problem the host gives you. You draw it, come up with a tagline, then you have 45 seconds to give an actual verbal presentation with your own mouth and ideas to try and convince other players to invest in your product. Needless to say, this is absolute fodder for linguistic legends and comedy conquerors. Unfortunately, for streamed games, you're probably not playing with people who have mics, and so their presentations are handled blandly by the voiceover hosts. After everyone has presented, people pick the top 3 inventions to invest in, and you get scores based on your popularity. Terrific game. Great. About 30 minutes have gone by at this point. Then the hosts go, "It's time for round 2. Are you fucking kidding? No, cut the game in half and it would be perfect, but they decide to make you go another long-ass round, long especially if your player count is max, only now everyone gets the same prompt, so not only have you overstayed your welcome, you've cut out the variability and made it infinitely less interesting. Halfway through the first time I played this game, I was like, this is fantastic. By the end, I was like, this is absolute torture. Let me go. I recommend you get your players to agree to quit after round 1. Then you've got yourself a great game. Number 14, TKO, Party Pack 3. The second best drawing game in the packs, TKO encourages people to draw ridiculous t-shirt designs and match them up with equally ridiculous taglines. Drawing 2 shirts in 2 minutes is a bit of an ask, but after the setup is done and your user-created quotes have been entered into the system and assigned at random, you'll be given 2 shirts from other artists and a few quotes to choose from, and it's your job to match them into the best combination possible. Then the shirts with their chosen quote are pitted against each other one-on-one as people vote on the best. This game usually ends up being offensive to multiple groups, at least it does with my audience, but it's pretty fun, and every once in a while you spawn something memeable. Number 15, both You Don't Know Jacks, Party Pack 1 and 5. As far as pop culture trivia games go, I don't think it gets better than this. You Don't Know Jack pits up to 4 players in the 2015 version and up to 8 in the 2018 version against each other to answer pop culture questions that usually require added elements of outside-the-box thinking. If you're in tune with the modern world around you, I think there's a lot to enjoy here, like episodes entirely dedicated to Paul Rudd or Frasier. Most of the comedy in it in the form of host banter falls incredibly flat, but that aside, it's a great competition for members of the so-called worst generation of humanity. Number 16, Monster Seeking Monster, Party Pack 4. A lot of people absolutely love this game. I like it. As the single only reason to get Party Pack 4, which was otherwise a complete flop, it has a lot of weight on its shoulders. What you do is message other players and try to bang them. Well, go on dates with them. Other players can reject or accept as they mingle with everyone else too, and the goal is to get as many hearts as possible. The catch is, everyone is different, unrevealed type of monster who has a special ability to get hearts or take them from other players based on who they accept or reject. After every round, the top player's monster is revealed, which simultaneously reveals just how deep a strategy game this deceptively is. Some monsters gain more hearts from dating previously rejected players, some monsters are always shown to be in last place until the final round, others take hearts from players who reject them. All of this happens under the table until their abilities are revealed, because the score isn't revealed till the very end either. It's very mysterious and fun. Number 17, Split the Room, Party Pack 5. We're now in the top 5 Party Pack games, with Split the Room coming in at number 5 for being a thought-provoking philosophical experiment that encourages deep thinking and nuanced perspective. You'll receive a Mad Libs prompt with a blank followed by an ultimatum, kind of like an intellectual would you rather, and your goal is to fill in the blank with an answer that splits the room. The best would you rathers are the ones that are tough to decide on, and that's what you want here too. You get more points the more split the room is. If you give an obvious choice that's a no-brainer option, you won't get very far. I love this setup because it's a springboard for discussion as well as persuasion as you weigh the options out loud and try to make it seem complicated. It's a 4-star game for sure. Number 18, Bidiots, Party Pack 2. The best drawing game of the packs and 4th place on my overall list. I love Bidiots. It's so fun, and people usually don't get it until they've played a couple rounds, but the investment is worth it. You're at an auction, and you are told to draw 2 pieces of very specifically titled art. One prompt could be girl in a dress, another could be girl in a grass skirt. Once you've drawn, your benefactor gives you the titles and values of 3 of the pieces of art that will be sold at the auction, and your goal is to work with what you know to make as much of a profit as possible, spending as little as you can on items of maximum sell value. No 2 people know the same artwork value, so you have to take risks and bid on pieces you think might be valuable, while analyzing what your fellow players are doing and trying to ascertain whether they know the values of certain pieces or if they're the ones who drew it. Your benefactor will occasionally give you tips like, so-and-so knows the value of this next piece, watch how they bid, which can help you make decisions. In the end, you want to have the most money remaining, and I just think this game is the bee's knees. Number 19, Whiplash XL and Whiplash 2, Party Pack 2 and 3. There's no real difference. Whiplash 2 lets you make your own prompts, but then you'll just come up with the best answers to your own prompts, so it's not very sportsmanlike. Whiplash is like if Cards Against Humanity required you to actually be funny instead of just pretending you are by hiding behind pre-written cards. The host will give 2 prompts, and you will write in the funniest answer or response you can think of before being pitted against another player's response to the same thing. Players in the audience vote on the funniest. It's very simple, and it almost never gets old. Whiplash is the heart and soul of Jackbox, in my opinion. You don't know Jack might be their mascot, but Whiplash is the person inside it who breathes life into the character, and it's my 3rd favorite Party Pack game. Number 20, Mad vs. City, Party Pack 5. Holy shit, this is what the series needed. Take the snap battles from the streets and make them rap battles in the streets. But also you're a bunch of giant robot transformers with AI voice modulators that will actually say out loud what you type, and it's amazing. The game will give you a line for you to fill in the blank, then you'll be asked to write a full line that rhymes with the blank you just put in. You'll do that twice per rap. That's what makes this legit for me. It would be lame as hell if it was just filling in blanks, but you actually have to put pen to paper and write a dazzling fucking diss track full of mic drop moments to blow your opponent to smithereens and make everyone go, "Oh!" Real rappers should play this game. How is there not a YouTube series of real rappers playing this game? How is there not a Jimmy Fallon Tonight Show skit where rappers play this game? Now, if only it would stop causing errors in my application when I try to stream it on PS4. I actually have yet to be able to get through a full game without it quitting on me. I guess my rhymes are too dope to handle. I mean, one time I rhymed electrician with clinician, and it actually made all of YouTube go offline for half an hour. That's right, that was me. 2nd best game in the packs. Number 21, and the best Jackbox game of all, Trivia Murder Party, Party Pack 3. Do you like trivia? Do you like trivia being asked at you by a serial killer who has kidnapped you and will force you to play horrible psychological minigames if you answer incorrectly? If you say no, you're a bitch, straight up. Trivia Murder Party is like the dark underbelly of Little Big Planet, with all your sack boys and girls getting nails driven into them and murdered violently as their stuffing explodes all over the cement floor. The trivia is basic trivia, but everyone who gets the question wrong then has to compete in a large swath of depraved minigames based on psychology, mathematics, language, memory, and occasional drawing. The losers of those games die. Their ghosts can still play, though, and the game keeps going until all but one player is dead, which then induces an escape sequence with a series of rapid-fire trivia questions that everyone dead or alive participates in. If you're a ghost, your goal is then to overtake the alive player by answering more questions correctly to become alive yourself, because only one person is making it out with their soul intact at the end of this shit. It's so great. It's the best game. So in light of all that, how would I rank the packs as a whole? Well, 4 is the worst. Monster Seeking Monster is the only one doing any legwork in that garbage, followed by 1, then 2, and then I'd say 5 and 3 are pretty much tied. 3 has Trivia Murder Party and Whiplash and TKO, which is super solid, while 5 has Mad vs. City, Split the Room, The Better You Don't Know Jack, and the first half of Patently Stupid. Maybe 5 is slightly better. 2, 3, and 5 are all definitely worth buying, though. Well, that's gonna do it for this ranking. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at SunburnedAlbino, and you can support the channel on Patreon at patreon.com/SunburnedAlbino. If you're new, I do rankings of a bunch of stuff very sparingly, but they're there. But I like to think my entire channel as a whole is a diamond in the rough, waiting to be unearthed by the majority of the population. I also stream Jackbox sometimes, not very often, but occasionally. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time.